Which game should I play next?
You are having Capcom issues.
Yes, I am. I need to get YouTube videos done though, even though I'm sitting on my ass all day and playing video games. Even though I'm still sitting on my ass and playing video games, I'm going to play Sonic Origins Plus because at least I'm getting work done. So, Sonic Origins this summer had gotten a expansion DLC, and it added in the Sega Game Gear Sonic games, and added Amy Rose, plus more content. I already reviewed Sonic Origins last year, and I complained about the price and it not having a physical release, but it came out and I am going to review it again. Usually I would review the whole package and not just the DLC, but this time I am reviewing the DLC and see if this game is worth paying $40 again. So let's get this game out of the wrapping and play the game. I will say that this game came with an art book and a slipcover, even though normal Switch game cases are smaller than PS4 cases. This slipcover makes it as big as a PS4 game right here. On the slipcover here, it says 16 new games and new characters to play as. What new characters? Do I get to play as Charmy Boob with a nipple and wings? This is false advertising because the only new character you can play in the classic Sonic games is Amy Rose, that underage fangirl of Sonic who constantly simps over Sonic the Hedgehog. What's this? A digital code? Before I could play as Amy Rose, I had to type in the code on the Nintendo Switch eShop to get the added content. So, if I put in the cartridge normally, then I just get the original Sonic Origins without the DLC. Well, that's dumb. Why not have the DLC in the cartridge? Amy Rose in the classic Sonic games just plays exactly like everyone else, but she uses her Pika Pika hammer. She has the Insta Shield like Sonic in Sonic 3, but instead of lasting for a split second, it wears off when you hit the ground. Also, there's this other move that Amy has that has her run around and use her hammer, going around smashing. To be honest, I don't use the moves that Amy has because the Sonic games were never designed with Amy Rose in mind. But it made it beating the Death Egg robot at the end of Sonic 2 piss easy because of her Harley Quinn hammer. I also got all the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic 3 and Knuckles as Amy Rose, so I really 100% completed Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Hey ladies, I 100% complete Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Oh, but I didn't beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles as Sonic by himself. But I still 100% complete Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic Origins Plus also added in 12 Game Gear titles on the compilation. It might not be shocking for Sonic fans that there are more Sonic games on the Game Gear than on the more successful Sega Genesis. Yes, this overpriced handheld at the time with a terrible battery life had more Sonic games on the console than the Sega Genesis. I'm going to play all of the Game Gear titles on the compilation, but I'm not going to review them in depth. I'm going to make jokes. So if you were expecting me to review all those games in depth, then I am sorry. If I did review them on depth, then interstellar travel would be possible by the time I would be done reviewing all those games. First game on our list is Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Game Gear. This is basically a different game from the Sega Genesis version of Sonic the Hedgehog 1, because it is on a less powerful system. This game is okay, not bad, but okay. The major problem with Sonic 1 on the Game Gear is that it is hard to see what is ahead of you, so you won't react to an enemy or a bottomless pit until it is too late. There's actually a world map in the 8-bit version of Sonic 1 that reminds me of the original Crash Bandicoot. The game is at least playable, but it's a short game and the music is pretty good for an 8-bit game, with my favorite being the 8-bit remix of Green Hill Zone. There are Chaos Emeralds in this game, but they are found by playing the stage and with no bonus stage at all. There are bonus stages in this game, but they are for getting extra lives and continues, and not getting the Chaos Emerald in the Game Gear version. Sonic doesn't even have a nose at all. The developers forgot to give Sonic a nose, and Sonic looks like a Mortal Kombat character. Oh, this waterfall level is giving me a fucking seizure! The 8-bit Sonic games were released on the Sega Master System, a competitor in the mid-80s console wars, and the versions of the 8-bit Sonic games on Sonic Origins Plus are the Game Gear versions. Why am I bringing this up? The Sonic Origins Plus collection is on consoles that you play on your TV. The only version you can play portably is the Switch version. So why are you putting the Game Gear versions only on the collection and not the Sega Master System versions? Okay, I get that the only 8-bit Sonic game that came out on the Sega Master System in the States is Sonic 1 on the Sega Master System. And Sonic 1 was the final game on the Sega Master System that we fat-ass Americans got in the States.
Yeehaw!
Next game is Sonic 2 on the Sega Game Gear. This game is actually worse than Sonic 1 because this game is unfairly hard. I can't even get past the first boss, which is the Sarlacc pit, while Dr. Eggman is dropping bombs. There is no consistent pattern, so the bombs just move at random. Even at the first zone, I am supposed to make a jump right here, and if I don't make that jump here, I have no choice but to commit suicide. I know the Sega Master System version of Sonic 2 is better than Sonic 2 on the Game Gear because it doesn't have the same screen crunch that the Game Gear version has. Sonic Chaos, the game after Sonic 2, is easier than Sonic 2, but too easy. I guess Sega got complaints that Sonic 2 was too hard, so Sonic Chaos is a lot easier. That doesn't mean I died in this game. I still did. I still managed to beat Sonic Chaos, but I got the bad ending because I didn't get all the Chaos Emeralds. Oh, you clever bitch! The real challenge in Sonic Chaos is getting all the Chaos Emeralds in the game. To get the good ending. That makes sense. That is why this game is called Sonic Chaos. If you thought Sonic Chaos isn't easy enough, you can play as Tails and you can fly through the stages in the whole game.
Helicopter, helicopter!
Why the fuck did I put this in the scripts? That joke is old now! Next game is Sonic Triple Trouble. This game is my favorite out of the Game Gear Sonic games because this game has the best level design out of the Game Gear titles. This is one of the few Sonic games on the Game Gear to not have a Sega Master System port. So I dealt with a lot less screen crunch because Sonic Triple Trouble was not designed with the Sega Master System in mind. The only thing I can complain about is the story. How the hell is Knuckles tricked by Dr. Eggman again? But it's just a simple handheld game from the 90s. Then we got Sonic Drift 1 and Sonic Drift 2. The original Sonic Drift never was released in the United States, but Sonic Drift 2 was. So it was a Final Fantasy situation where we got games titled Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, and then we got Final Fantasy 7. So we Americans thought, Where the fuck were Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6, huh? Sonic Drift was Sega's answer to Mario Kart, and those games are not very good at all. Mario Kart and Crash Team Racing, Sonic Drift 8. It's very hard to see where I am going because I keep losing races and driving off the track. There are arrows letting me know, but they only show up for a second, and there is a map on the screen, but they don't do good. I don't get why Sega didn't just make Sonic Drift on the Sega Genesis, which was more powerful and was more popular. Playing this on a TV screen, this game is heroin abuse because this game is just way too bright with the road moving and all that. This game was designed for a small Game Gear screen and not on modern day TVs and screens. I did manage to get 2-player footage from my twin brother for playing this with me. He didn't want to appear on camera, but he ended up having a seizure. It's a good thing he managed to play this without losing eyesight, but I did. This was me after recording the Game Gear games for this video. Next game is Sonic Blast, a handheld tie-in game with Sonic 3D Blast. The game is an attempt to have 3D digitized graphics on a handheld because Donkey Kong Lands did it on the Game Boy. This game is a part of the Sonic Slow Ass trilogy because Sonic goes very slow. Sonic 3D Slow Ass, and this is Sonic Slow Ass. Whenever you jump over a loop, you hear a whole there we go. Next game, Sonic Labyrinth. The first game in the Sonic Slow Ass trilogy. The story is Dr. Eggman broke into Sonic's house, and he had put on Sonic shoes that make him slow, and it removed his ability to jump. Okay, I know this is a game for kids, but Dr. Eggman could burn his house down or kill him directly when he is asleep, god damn it. As with the gameplay, it isn't very good. Sonic moves really slow, and the only way to go fast is to spin dash, which, when he is spin dashing, he goes very fast, but harder to control. Sonic Labyrinth was a game originally on the Game Gear with a D-pad. Yes, this is a 3-dimensional isometric game, and later releases of Sonic Labyrinth allows you to control using an analog stick. So, I wouldn't want to imagine or even play this game using a D-pad. Next game, Sonic Spinball. This is a game that was originally on the Sega Genesis, so I really don't understand why they put the Game Gear version of Sonic Spinball and not the Genesis version. I don't fucking know. I know some people really like Sonic Spinball, but for me, that game isn't my cup of tea. It's a pinball game, so it's basically based on luck on where you end up. Now we have 2 games based on Sonic's two-tailed best friend, Tails, called Tails Sky Patrol and Tails Adventure. Tails Sky Patrol is a 2D side-scroller shooter type of game. And from what I heard, this game was made for a younger demographic compared with the normal Sonic games. Not Paw Patrol young, but in between. This game feels all cutesy. There is no one trying to kill you at all. There is this witch who is the main villain, and she is a bitch and you have to stop her. No Sonic, no Dr. Eggman, and no Chaos Emeralds. What? I can't get past this door? I am stuck with this game. And it's a kid's game. What? Now let's take a look at Tails' Adventure. The story is about a bunch of robot birds burning down the forest while Tails is taking a nap, and Tails needs to stop them with his gadgets. This is a game similar to Wario Land 3, and that is an awesome game. After you beat a level, you unlock a new gadget, And you can equip and unequip them at Tails' house. Wait, Tails' house? Does Tails pay the bills? What's annoying is that you have to enter in a code after you die, because after you die, you go to the title screen. Yeah, that is annoying if playing authentically with the Sega Game Gear, but there are save states, so it isn't a big deal. Overall, Tails' adventure is pretty decent. Final game is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. These games came out in the 90s, and back in the 90s, Dr. Eggman was called Dr. Robotnik. It's a puzzle game, but it's not an original puzzle game. It's Puyo Puyo with a Sonic the Hedgehog related coat of paint. This game actually has the design of Dr. Robotnik from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. Here is also Grounder from that show. This game is actually pretty fun, but god damn it, the computer player on the first level is so damn good at this.
Finally, I talked about all of the Game Gear Sonic games. Whew. There are a fuck ton of Sonic games on the Sega Game Gear.
One final mode in the game I would like to talk about is the Blue Spear mode. I don't actually remember this mode being in the original Sonic Origins without the DLC, but I actually enjoyed this mode. There are two versions of the Blue Spear mode. One is the really hard one that was made originally for Sonic Origins with two new color spears. The pink spears teleport you, and the green spears turn into blue spears. Then we got the original blue spears, and how to play it is by combining the original Sonic the Hedgehog cartridge with the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge. The blue spears bonus stages were so fun that Sega basically made a whole game out of it. 30 years later, Sega added more blue spear levels in Sonic Origins.
So is Sonic Origins Plus worth paying $40 for? Yes. But my main problem is that Sega should have released this a year ago, and I shouldn't have ended up making two videos about Sonic Origins.
In my video last year, I was disappointed that Sega released it for $40 and didn't release it physical in the first place. I was really upset about that, but I was thankful Sega didn't release it for $60 or $70 though. I am happy with Sonic Origins Plus, but I am disappointed because this is what they should have had released a year ago. I guess Sega smelled pennies. Hell, the Sonic Mega Collection from the PS2 and GameCube era had more content than Sonic Origins from nearly 20 years ago. Why not release all the Game Gear titles on Sonic Origins since day one? Then, have Sonic 3D Blast, Knuckles Chaotix, and the Genesis version of Sonic Spinball and Amy Rose as DLC.
So I technically spent $80 on this game, basically because this game has content that should have been there in the first place. Ugh, modern gaming sucks ass.